Hey guys, I'm back, kind of. How have you been? I've been well. Hey guys, as you can obviously see, I'm making a new video. The point of this video really is to fill you guys in on where I've been, why I kind of stopped making videos, and the reason I'm making this video now is because, well, just a couple of days ago, Paralives came out, and since this channel was mainly a Sims 3 content channel, I thought, what better way for me to sit down, play some Paralives in the background, and just kind of fill you guys in on what's been going on. So if you have been given this video via the algorithm, and it just come across your feed, and you think, oh, a new Paralives video by some unknown creator, let's click on it and see what it's about. Probably not for you, because I'm not really talking about the game. This video is more for my subscribers that have remained subscribed to me over these years and now are getting a Twitch HK90 video pop up in their subscriber feed and either going, who the hell's this guy and why is he my subscriber feed? Or, oh yeah, what happened to that guy? So you're welcome to stay, obviously, if you're from the first group, but either way, I'm just gonna kind of go with the flow and just fill you in. Now, I don't really have a script, but I will admit this is attempt number 2, because attempt number 1 took 50 fucking minutes. I don't think anyone wants to sit through 50 minutes of me rambling about my life. So I'm re-recording this and trying to condense it. But again, no script, so who knows what tangents I'll go on. But I'll try and keep myself under control for you guys. Right, so let's start from the very beginning. What happened? Why did the Sims 3 farming challenge stop? Why did the videos as a whole stop? What happened? Basically, long story, super short. My interests changed, and my life changed. First of all, my interests. I stopped liking gameplay content. I stopped watching gameplay content. I used to watch Let's Plays and people play all sorts of things on YouTube. I got bored of watching that stuff, and it got to the point where I'd rather just play the games myself. And if I wasn't watching that content, I wasn't really interested in making that content. My play style kind of changed, where I'd like to watch stuff while I played, very more laid back, and also on top of that, I would be playing games while talking to friends. I can't play games and talk to friends while recording all at the same time, so it was a bit of a conflict. But I still tried to squeeze in making content as I kind of progressed through my transition in life. On top of that as well, making the videos, they were only 10 minutes long, and there was 3 a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, which isn't a big deal. It was just play the game, talk over it, chop, upload, essentially. But because of my work schedule, I used to work in a restaurant. I used to start at 12, finish at 10, 10 in the evening. So I'd wake up, render a video, go to work, my computer's humming all day, rendering a video, and then just sat in idle mode till I got back. Come home from work, play on my computer and hang out with my friends till 1 or 2 in the morning. But then I had to upload the video. I didn't have fibre internet at the time. I had standard broadband. So for me to upload that 10-minute video took anywhere between 6 to 8 hours. So my computer was just on doing that. And it was doing that day in, day out. And my computer was in my bedroom. So living in that kind of environment, because I'd play in I'd game in my room, I'd sleep in my room, I'd edit my room. So I was always with that computer humming. It was like living in an office. It was just, ugh. So that kind of soured the mood on content creation a little bit. But still, it didn't stop me. But again, it kind of added to the things through the transition. So they were the first kind of things that stopped me, which kind of made me stop wanting to make content. What really kind of did stop me making content is I went through some really severe, that makes it sound terrible, very big life changes. I ended up meeting someone through gaming online, and we started, kind of seeing each other online, e-dating, and then we met up in real life. And then after that, maybe about a year went past, and I came to the choice where I wanted to go and move closer to my girlfriend. So that's not really that big of a deal. Just moving house, really. Moving to a new location. Big change, but not that bad. The thing is, with most of these online relationships, the distance is further than you think. And for me, I live in England, or lived in England. My girlfriend lived in Norway. So I was kind of in a bad spot mentally in England as well. I was quite in a down. I had like the perfect life. Depression's stupid. It makes no sense half the time. My life was fine, but I wasn't happy there. So I was like, I'm moving to Norway to be with my girlfriend. We spoke about it. I could go stay with her. So I packed everything up, sold some stuff to make some extra money, shifted over there, and the plan was really to move over there and just carry on where I left off. Find a job, live my life eventually, if things work out, start my new life in Norway, we'll eventually, get married, have kids, yada yada, grow old, die, blah blah blah. The cliche, I know. But as life tends to be, there's a few humps and bumps along the way. My first attempt at going to Norway didn't work out quite well. When you go to Norway go to any new country which you don't know the language, and you have no friends and no one really to talk to, and your girlfriend ends up being out of the house most of the time because she's actually still actively going to college. Anyway, I'm going into too much detail. Basically, the move was very lonely. I got very sick on the first week I got there, mainly due because my go-away party in England at the pub, I got absolutely shit-faced drunk and drank like an entire bottle of black Kraken rum, and spent the entire night puking in the toilet, which then gave me a very, very bad throat infection. So I was very sick when I got there, and I was kind of quarantined, and I was kind of lonely during the day. I quickly realised if you're going to live in Norway, you need to learn to drive to do anything or to go anywhere, and that kind of played on my mental health a little bit more. So, to cut the long story short, once again, I had to come back home from Norway, and I came back to England, and I got myself back on track. My Camilla, she came with me, and she visited me throughout my time back in England. I got another job in England, saved up some more money, learned to drive, and then went back to tackle Norway once again. In that short period of being back in England and replanning and rebuilding, I was still making content, albeit wasn't enjoying it as much, but I was still making content. And my girlfriend had actually moved back into her family home, and it was an old Norwegian farmhouse. It had been in her family since the dawn of time, basically. And it was old and run down and hadn't been working as a farm in ages. So, new plan, go back to Norway, move into this rickety old crappy falling to pieces farmhouse. With this overgrown farmland, I can carry on making my content. I can introduce new content. Sims 3 farming challenge in real life. Get myself what's it called? Just unskilled labour kind of job. Just a job that anyone can do. No education needed. And then I'll learn Norwegian while I'm working. Because I can drive now, so I can probably get a job a bit easier because I can go a bit further afield. So obviously things kind of took a turn. Not in a bad way, but not in a good way. Things got very stagnant very quickly when I moved to Norway. I've realised it was very hard to get a job in Norway unless you didn't know the language. Jobs that you thought they would give to anyone, you don't really need to learn Norwegian to do this job, or you don't really need qualifications to do this job. They were like, you need to learn Norwegian and you need qualifications. It's like, really? For this little thing? I could get this job in England, no problem. I have no education, but that's just how Norway is. So getting a job was a bit difficult, and while I was searching for a job and not getting anywhere, trying to look for Norwegian courses and realising that they're all the way in the city, which I couldn't really get to very easily because they were night courses as well. I just kind of became really a stay-at-home husband. Like the old farmhouse, like I said, been in the family for years, so there was no mortgage, so there wasn't very large bills. So a little went a long way, kind of deal. So I just kind of stayed at home, tidied, did nothing. Kind of didn't really pull my weight, if I'm going to be completely honest. Again, I'm kind of getting into more details, but life's like that. It gets very mundane very quickly, and you kind of lose track of time. Another reason, which really kind of this is when things started to shift as well. I tried to do the Sims 3 farming challenge, but then realized it wasn't going to work. My camera wasn't good enough. I didn't really have the drive to do it, or the energy, or the knowledge, or anything. It was very ambitious, and I'm starting to realize I'm quite a lazy person, and I don't want to do it. So I didn't do it. So that content get knocked on the head. My internet was no better in Norway, so uploading was still ugh. And on top of that, I was making more time to game with friends and stuff. So the more time I'm gaming with friends, the less time I'm making content. So I shifted away even more from, and then it just really kind of phased out. I didn't make an active decision of I'm not going to do this anymore. I just stopped doing it. I'll do it next week. Sod it. Kind of whatever, and then just kind of phased out. Then again, my habits changed once again, which also made it even harder for me to make content, even if I wanted to, because I got really into roleplay. I don't mean like Dungeons and Dragons. You've seen Red Dead Redemption roleplay, maybe even Grand Theft Auto online roleplay. I was in the Ark Survival Evolved roleplay scene. That was kind of before GTA and Red Dead, and I got really hooked on there. I kind of shifted all my focus onto that, made some new friends and everything, but I did that for basically every day for 2 years straight. Not all day, every day, but every evening, hours at a time. In total, I think my Ark Survival Evolved is almost sitting at 6,000 hours, and it's just solely roleplay. And yeah, so obviously by this point, I've kind of phased out content creation. Again, so to kind of reiterate why I stopped making content, I moved away from home, had a few little mini breakdowns along the way, I got a bit lazy, my tastes of things I wanted to do changed, my hobbies changed, they were taking all my time pretending to be someone else. And at that point, I kind of came to the conclusion that, I'll make a video when I want to make a video, but I'm not making videos more. I just don't want to. And if you don't want to do something, there's no reason to force yourself to do it. And that's what I did, so I just carried on with life, living life. Now kind of for the life update part, I eventually did go to a Norwegian course. Turned out there was one in town the entire time. Bear in mind, I'd been in Norway for 5 years at this point and hadn't even learnt the language yet. I started the one Norwegian course, and while I was getting the Norwegian course, me and my wife, we got married. It wasn't an official marriage, it was just a symbolic wedding because we couldn't really afford it, and the paperwork to deal with me being, being a foreigner and everything. Yeah, technically I was like on a job seeker visa because I was still looking for a job. I didn't really have she didn't have the funds to support me, so doesn't matter. Me getting married probably wasn't viable at the time. So we had a symbolic wedding. I carried on learning Norwegian, got myself a little Saturday job, ended up quitting that job because it was very dangerous in the winter driving on these icy winter roads that don't get ploughed on a Saturday morning at 3 o'clock doing paper rounds. I eventually passed my Norwegian course. Granted, it's been another 5 years since I passed that course, and my Norwegian is still terrible because I do not practice it as much as I do. But I ended up getting a new job, which was eventually it was a small job over the summer in a shop. Went to get my foot in the door in the working world, and it went from being like a 16% summer job, even though I worked every day all through the summer, to can you work 40% for a bit longer? Can you work 60? And now I work there basically full time. So I got myself a job, learned myself Norwegian, and I'm basically just being an adult, really, at this point. I wake up, go to work, come home, have dinner, spend time with my wife, enjoy some video gaming in the evening, go to bed, repeat. Day in, day out, day in, day out. Obviously, as I said at the beginning, from the very beginning of this video, the whole point was come to Norway, if things work out, get married, have kids, yada yada yada. The having kids got put kind of on a back burner because, as I mentioned just briefly earlier, the old family farm. When I say old, I mean old. Like I said, when I joked about it being in the family since the beginning of time, I probably, well, obviously I was joking, but it's 200 years old and it has been neglected. So raising a child in that house wasn't going to work. So, new goal, need a new house. I want to say luckily, but it's not luckily. I managed to come into a bit of money due to some inheritance, which really helped push things along. Me and my wife we were kind of falling into a bit of a rut. We were kind of trapped in the old house because we were both working not well-paying jobs. So for us to get a loan to get a house was going to be really hard. But then I got some inheritance, which really kind of pushed that forward. And we managed to get a new house built right next to the old house. And as soon as we got that house built and we were able to move into it, which was about 2 years ago at this point, going on 3, is when we decided, okay, well, we've got the house, we've got jobs, time is of the essence, we're getting kind of old, because at this point, like I said, it's been over 10 years since I was like regularly making content and living in England. It's now been, fast forward 10 years, I'm in Norway, we've got a brand new house, 10 years is gone. It's crazy how time just disappears. And this was no exception. I'm now 35. When I started with this dream of coming to Norway and living happily ever after, I was like 25. So it's like, okay, so we started making plans to start the family, and, well, fast forward till now, and we have a family. I've got a son. He is just over 1 year old. Just had his first visit to kindergarten today, actually, of recording this. And yeah, so that's all I've really been doing. Lazed around for 5 years, got my shit together, got myself a job, got myself a house, started a family. And now, I'm just living dad life. Which is a challenge in itself, which anyone who's had kids can understand, especially if it's their first kid. It can be something, especially when you're very used to having your own time. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I'll make it a little bit easier, actually. More sleep would be appreciated. More sleep. And consistent sleep. So yeah. So I guess that leads us to, what's the plans going forward and what are we doing now? I mean, will I return to the channel now I've picked up the microphone and blabbered for 25 minutes? Has it relit a spark in me? A little bit. But am I going to go back to making content? No. Between work, which I'll be going back to soon once this one goes to kindergarten, and raising my family and doing my other projects. I'm taking up gardening. I'm doing a lot of gardening. There's no time for this stuff. There's no time to do the stuff I want to do because I'm raising this little one. I get maybe 2 hours on a Saturday to do a bit of gardening. So yeah, there's no plans to come back to the channel, unfortunately, and start pumping out content again. In fact, I actually have made a new channel, which, again, isn't having any content on. I've made it simply because Twitch XK90, the name Twitch, has been tarnished by that goddamn streaming service. No matter where I go, if I'm in someone's live chat, or leaving a comment on a video, or playing a video game, I get, hey, are you streaming on Twitch TV? No. Or people say my name wrong because they drop the Twitch part because they just think that's trying to direct people to my Twitch channel, so they keep calling me XK90 or XK. It's like, that's not my name. The XK was just to break up the 90. 90 is the year I'm born in. Twitch is the name. So in the end, I just gave up, and I've made a new account and starting fresh there. There is one project I'm kind of playing with the idea. We all have to wait and see how things go, because once you've got a young kid, you know, your plans kind of go out the window. But spending all this time in Norway, I haven't been able to do it a lot, but I've really fallen in love with being out and about and hiking. And there's millions of hiking trails all over Norway. Also, I love foraging for mushrooms as well in the mushroom season. And I would love to make some kind of outdoor hiking content. And if I do decide I'm going to do that, first I have to obviously buy the equipment. And if I am going to do that, I'm going to make a brand spanking new channel only dedicated to that. I might promote it here if it ever gets lifted off the ground, if you're interested in that stuff. But at the same time, at the moment, it's really just a thought in the head of something I'd like to do. We'll just have to see how things play out and how many opportunities life gives me to do these things. So yeah, that's really it. That's why I stopped making content. That's the change I went through over the past 10 years and really what I've been up to. To summarise, one last time, I just kind of fell out of love with it and just kind of grew up, in a way, into your kind of stereotypical, albeit slightly broken, adulthood. Been a crazy ride, to say the least. Anyway, with all that said, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for listening if you did listen all the way till the end. And even if you didn't, thanks anyway just for kind of, you know, showing the interest. If you didn't click on the video at all, then, well, I don't really need to address you, do I? Anyway, if I don't go, I'll keep waffling. So I'll just have to say, since this is probably going to be goodbye from me and also this channel, I just want to say thank you for everyone that did watch my content when I made the content, from the random playthroughs I did on just random video games I was playing at the time, to the small compilations I did playing on Battlefield, and you know, all the people that kind of tuned in and really subscribed when I was making all the Sims content and shown a great interest in that. From going from the, like, obviously I only got to, you know what, it doesn't even matter, I'm not going to even talk about the numbers. I never blew up, but I wasn't no one at the same time. And the people that I watched and interacted with, I'm kind of sorry that I kind of just left you hanging dry. And I hope you kind of understand that just life gets in the way. But I also, once again, want to thank you so much for watching and enjoying and choosing me to waste your time on, essentially. Right. Well, let's not get too sentimental now, shall we? I'll leave you to it. Go on. Go about your day. And, well, I guess goodbye.